And welcome one, welcome all. It's time for NCAA Men's Volleyball, live from Tarble Arena in Kenosha, Wisconsin, off the chilly lakefront of Lake Michigan. Hello everybody, I'm Peter Ferreri, joined this evening by Justin Coorigan. Justin, it's a first-time meeting between these two squads in the entire history of these two programs, so it's always good to have a first, followed by a victory that the Firebirds had against Lakeland and the Muskies earlier. That's an annual game. This is the first one ever. The Green Knights, the Firebirds. Thoughts on what we're about to see this evening?
I mean, we're getting the second half of a season-opening doubleheader at home. What more can you ask for? A Carthage team that came in and took a commanding win right off the bat. St. Norbert's kicking their year off with this match. It's going to be fun either way. We're not sure what to expect because we haven't seen these two go head-to-head before, but that makes it all the more fun.
The preseason poll was released for the NACC, that's the Northern Athletic Conference. We'll get to that in a moment. As for the CCIW coaches poll, first place, 4 votes, Carthage, 24 overall, a hair ahead of Loris. The expectations are higher than ever for the Firebirds as they are now 2 years removed, or 2 seasons, we should say, from their back-to-back national championships.
Yeah, and I think the talent that they've got this year is kind of turning some heads a bit early on, even on paper. And Coach Kiefer has even said he thinks this is the most talent he's had since he's been here. That includes 2 years where he won national titles, one of which he went undefeated. Will they be able to do that this year with the talent, with the youth? To be determined, but I think they're set up to where if they can execute and do the things they need to do, it's going to be a fun year in Kenosha for men's volleyball.
Green Knights on their side of things, they were picked to finish 11th in the NICC poll. Dominican was projected to finish first in that poll. So St. Norbert only ahead of Wisconsin Lutheran and Rockford, but some people often say that polls are just for those that like to read and not to play. And I think that could also be, as we've heard, Justin, a little bit of bulletin board material for a team like the Green Knights. Like, well, oh, you only think we're going to finish 11th in our conference? Well, what better way to start out with a statement game against the Firebirds?
Exactly, and I mean, this is a team that's going to want to turn things around. They ended the season just 3-12 in their final 15 matches after starting out 3-0 on the year. So they want to figure out what went wrong when they got into NAC play and really turn things around and try and restart this with a fresh start this season, make a statement in the NAC, turn things around.
As mentioned, this is the second game of a doubleheader, so we appreciate it not only if you joined us earlier and then are coming back, but also if you are joining us for the first time this season, we want to say welcome. With that being said, as we are getting ready for the introductions in the game number 2, game number 1, Lakeland had a very hot start against the Firebirds. Firebirds came back to win set 1, but it was nothing short of a dominating performance in sets 2 and 3, a sweep of all sweeps. Carthage now coming off a decisive victory against the Muskies, looking to continue their winning ways against the Green Knights.
Absolutely. In this first match, we saw reminiscence of those national championship teams just taking over, being able to hit efficiently. They hit .462 as a team while limiting the Muskies to a negative .03 hitting percentage. 19 kills on 21 errors, whereas the Firebirds had 38 kills to just 8 errors, so they took care of the volleyball, they found their spots, they found their seams, and they made it work, and they were efficient in doing so. And this is something that hopefully they can take into the second match and then take on the road with them as they get into a much harder part of their schedule on the road to start the season.
Set 1, 9 tie scores, 3 lead changes. In the second and third sets, it was all Firebirds all day. They look to continue that excitement into the second game of a doubleheader. We'll take a step aside for introductions for Eric Elger in the PA booth when we come back. The beginning of game number 2 of the Firebird season. Don't go anywhere. We're here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
It's now time for the starting lineups. For tonight's match between the Green Knights and the Carthage Firebirds. First, let's meet the Green Knights. Starting at middle blocker, the 6'3" junior from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, number 3, Barry Applewhite. At libero, the 6' junior from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, number 4, Ryan Conway. At And outside hitter, the 6'1" senior from Lockport, Illinois, number 18, Owen Kinezovich. At center, the 6'1" junior from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, number 20, Michael Whitney. And on the batter, the 6'2" sophomore from Appleton, Wisconsin, number 22, Bennett Cornett. The head coach of the Green Knights is B.J. Bryant, assisted by Val Towns, Matt Seidel, and Cody Fiorito. And now then, the time to meet your Carthage College Firebirds.
Introductions are underway. We appreciate you being with us on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. I'm Peter Ferreri alongside Justin Coorigan. Game 2 of the doubleheader. Once again, a sweep for the Firebirds against Lakeland and the Muskies. Just over an hour ago, St. Norbert hoping to have a different fate than the earlier Muskies. The Green Knights wearing their visiting white jerseys with green numbers and letters, gold trim. The Firebirds in their blacks with white numbers and letters, red trim. Starters for the Firebirds: Hendricks, Nolan, Maury, Emmerich, Schweitzer, Cholowiski, and the automatic, Owen Otto. A lineup with a lot of youth, including that of Owen Otto, one of our players to watch. He had an outstanding freshman campaign in the earlier contest. Justin, he picked up where he left off.
Absolutely, he was dominant. Everyone in this lineup had a great first game, and the Firebirds, although a slow start, which we saw the same thing last year we talked about in the previous broadcast, they turned it around, they won the first set, and then they cruise to victory the rest of the way, 25-9, something we hadn't seen since the national championship team of 2022.
So starting for St. Norbert on the flip side, we have number 3, Barry Applewhite, number 6, Cade Nelson, number 18, Owen Kenzovich, as well as number 8, the outside hitter, Caden Kornaus. So a diversified lineup for St. Norbert, and you know, I said this in game number 1 when it was the Muskies, and we know we won't talk about it too much, but I think it bears mentioning. Lakeland started out hot. Carthage had to come back multiple times. We're able to finish it off. If St. Norbert can get that first hit in the mouth, that kind of can throw Carthage for a loop.
Absolutely, and look for Caden Kornaus to be that leading factor. He led the team in kills last year, 254, averaging 3.06 per set. Definitely going to be a big factor here today.
10-foot line, turnaround, playable for the Firebirds. Far side libero play. Just drops in between, so the libero for St. Norbert.
Communication error on the back end, trying to figure out how to play that ball, kind of getting up high near the rafters. Just couldn't quite communicate to figure it out. Early season mishap.
Firing it over, returned by the Green Knights. Picked up underneath, nice play by Nolan, who's getting the start at libero for the second game. Libero for the Green Knights, number 5, Ryan Conway out of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin.
There's a great swing on there for Ruben Emmerich, tooling it off the block.
Hop serve, a little bit of a self-preservation, but playable for Michael Whitney, who checked into the game. Falling away, looking for the kill, back row, and able to deliver. Nice play by Owen Hendricks. Kind of a little bit of an off-balance attack. Set was where he was standing, not where he was going to be. Didn't matter, delivered.
Yeah, and he put that one in a good spot where it's very hard for the back row, especially a back row hitter, in the sense of Kornaus in this case, to try and figure out if that's in or out. Not the easiest thing.
And another point, as not able to make contact in the back row is number 22, Bennett Kornaus. Serving now for the Firebirds, number 6, Ryan Moore, yet again a 4-0 lead for the Firebirds. Slide down in, and that's a pretty slide for the Green Knights. They get their first point on the evening. Cade Nelson, the Appleton, Wisconsin product, delivers.
That's about as smooth of a slide hit as you're going to see. Great attack there, forcing the side out and getting the Green Knights on the scoreboard.
Looking for a dive. Contact, not able to get there. Number 11, Jake Van Owen. Another point for the Firebirds, and for all intents and purposes, the Firebirds are picking up right where they left off, and that's on fire.
And crazy enough, that's the first kill of the season for Cholowinski. After leading the team all year last year, to have to take it into the second match for him to get his first, but that just shows how dominant this team was through match 1.
Outstanding kill, Ruben Emmerich, one of the many Middleton, Wisconsin products. What I appreciate out of, we've said this in the first game, so we will repeat for this game in case there's new viewers, especially those from St. Norbert. But 3 former teammates from Middleton, Wisconsin, all different years. So the freshman Schweitzer, the sophomore Heiss, and the senior Emmerich. So it's always a nice touch when you have 3 former teammates back at it again at the collegiate level.
And the crazy thing is, you look at the St. Norbert roster, they have 4 from the same high school. All in Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm assuming Appleton North based on this here. Cade Nelson, Caden Kornaus, Mason Werner, and where'd the last one go here? Bennett Kornaus, all from Appleton. So both teams liking to use pipelines from Wisconsin.
5-point lead for the Firebirds over the Green Knights. Oh, nice trickeration as Cholowinski had the leap, went over. The defenders thought it was going his way. Barry Applewhite, as mentioned, out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, went to stop Cholowinski, and it went over. Another delivery for the Firebirds.
And that's a smart location on the swing, too, from Owen Otto on that. He knows everyone's going in, biting on the Cholowinski jump. Goes line shot with it and finds the left side of the court wide open.
Serving now for St. Norbert, Michael Whitney, the setter, out of Pius the 12th, teammate of Ryan Conway. Set again to the left side, far pin. That set where Cholowinski or whoever is the middle jumps, and it just cuts over, that time getting to Owen Otto, absolutely lethal for Carthage.
Absolutely, and for the defensive side, there's nothing you can do about that. You have to bite that it's going to be Cholowinski. He's too lethal in the middle that you either have to get burned by him and play it for the outside, or you got to go up and assume it's going to be him and take the risk that it's going to go to Owen Otto instead.
And just kissing the shoelaces of our line judge, but you know it's out, so good play. Kornhaus in now. Lead still sits at 5. Officials for today game, Merrick Franz, your R1. Francisco Torres Rivera, your R2 in the line is Shane Hubert and Alexis Sheldon. So your R1 currently was your R2 prior. One of your lines was the R1 in the prior game. And your R2 and fellow line are new this evening. So it's always fun when you see, okay, well, some stayed. And we got some new faces. Mix things up from the official count. Something that's continued to stay is the offensive firepower of the Firebirds and an ace for Owen Otto, who had the most aces for the Firebirds last year in his true freshman year, and is picking up Justin right where he left off.
Yeah, he is wasting no time. He had 4 in the first game already. Another one here. Schweitzer a little late coming up trying to get the block from the middle. Allowed that swing to get over.
12-5 your score. All Carthage early on in set number 1 hits the tape, playable for Otto. Set left side, 12-6. Another kill for Carthage. They are firing. Joel Kolwitz, a great job setting. Owen Hendricks delivering. As we say, sometimes the unsung heroes are the setters.
Hendricks, another one off to a great start in this game after being tied for the lead in kills with Ben Heiss in match 1, each registering 10 kills, putting one through the floor there.
You know, we discussed earlier, but again, bears mentioning the second game when you have the turnover and the likes of a, Mitch Geiger not being here anymore, Keegan Brummett, as well as Gene McNulty, your multi-time national champion, who is going to step up. And so far early on, it is a plethora of Firebirds making their presence known. Owen Otto sailing in from the 10-foot line like it didn't matter. 14-6 Firebirds.
And that's been something to notice here through 3.5 sets of this season now. There hasn't been one standout player for this Firebirds team. They're all working as a unit. They're all taking their own turns to shine. And it's paying off so far with a couple of really statement victories so far.
Set left pin, blocked right back down. Woo, Fryland Cholowinski. For all of your roofing needs in Wisconsin, call Cholowinski and Associates.
Cholowinski up on that. Ruben Emmerich right with him. And it seemed like they were in the air forever on that.
And Cholo couldn't get to that one in time. Nice consistency over the middle as subbing out for the Green Knights is going to be Knezovic.
Cholowinski just up a little early on that one. Didn't quite have the reach he had on the play before.
Van Owen to serve. 10-foot line, sailing, takes me away as sailing in from the 10-foot line was Otto yet again. 4 kills out of the 16 for Carthage in set number 1.
And my memory might be failing me. I don't remember Owen Otto being this lethal from the back row last season. That's something that I feel has been added this year that's going to help out a lot.
So the head coach, B.J. Bryant, in his 4th season for St. Norbert, just shaking his head, saying that one was out. R1 trusted the line judge, a 10-point lead for the Firebirds. And anytime there's a questionable call, I say the volleyball gods give the point right back. So with that being said, Hendricks, a service error.
That's what I believe the kids call ball don't lie.
The quick set over the middle, and there was a set to nobody. So just a little bit of miscommunication as Maury into set. Again, Maury, one of the rotational setters with Joe Kolwitz. In the first game, Maury 8 assists, Kolwitz with 18. Pass over the middle, trying to power it through, return, 10-foot line kill attempt, and that one's going, and that's going to hit the ceiling, so favorable to St. Norbert in that circumstance. And Carthage not able to keep it alive. So the Green Knights, what composure and concentration, playing it off the rafters, and they come away with the point.
I think that might have hit the lowest rafter in this building and hung up just enough for them to get set up to recover that play, let Carthage force the error on themselves.
Power bomb from the left side. The automatic one, Owen Otto. Subbing in is going to be Hudson Schweitzer yet again, along with Austin Mallory. So Mallory, your freshman libero out of Powell, Ohio, coming in to get some back row action. Carthage 8-point lead, 7 away from set 1 victory. Quick set over the middle, answering back, Barry Applewhite, chopping down the apple tree.
Barry Applewhite, one of the most efficient hitters on this lineup last season, 97 kills, hitting .299. That is, I believe, second on the team in efficiency, just behind Cade Nelson, who hit .327.
Here comes the
boom.
1911 as Otto just pounding the pavement with those power hits. What a find for Coach Key Kafer to take over and be your leading kill getter for the Carthage Firebirds. Almost another ace opportunity. Back row playable. Nice side swipe to keep the rally alive for the Green Knights. However, hitting the antenna, trying to get it over. Lead back to 9 at 20-11 timeout. Called by St. Norbert. We'll keep it here. For Justin Coorigan, I'm Peter Ferreri. Justin, looking at where things have started for Carthage, I think it starts and ends with a 765 kill percentage. That is, let me repeat for those at home, 765. that's otherworldly.
Absolutely. You're not going to lose many sets when you're hitting that efficiently. You're not going to lose many matches if you can hit that efficiently. And even on top of that, 2 service aces already, 13 kills on just 17 attempts. About as efficient as you can have of an offense to start a match.
As we sit here as well, helping lead that offensive charge for the Firebirds, Otto 6 kills, Hendricks with 3. Talk to me about the efficiency of Otto. It's not just how he's able to deliver. No matter where the pass is, he does a stellar job with it, and I think that speaks volumes right now, whether it's from the 10-foot line, from the pick, from the left, from the right. There's no angle that Otto can't deliver.
No, and he's hitting efficiently, he's hitting hard, and he's finding his spots before he goes up to swing, and that is key, especially when you're hitting from back row. You're hitting from all over. It's not as easy as someone who strictly hits from the right side, strictly hits from the outside, where you kind of know where you're going no matter what. He has to know wherever he is on the court, where's the best opportunity for me to score, and he's doing that wonderfully to start the year.
Next timeout, remind me, Justin, I got a rules clarification in between the sets about the rules of this facility and how it comes into play if and when and where it hits off the rafters. So if we next timeout, next break we get, we'll explain not only the situation that happened in set number 1, but also how it can impact future games here. So
absolutely.
Firebirds need 4. Blocked back, playable for the Green Knights. Nice back set. Oh, what a beautiful back set. Flying it is Cade Kornhaus, as he just got a perfect set to that far side pin. Carthage couldn't converge quickly enough. Wide open spaces.
That was a great set to set that up, and he knew exactly where the hole would be on the floor. Right in the middle of everybody, put that down. And the ceiling put that one down.
The ceiling indeed put that down. 22-12. So with that circumstance, I guess I'll take a moment to explain. So that circumstance, what you just saw, St. Norbert deflected it for a return, hit off the ceiling, fell on their side. If it stays on their side of the court, or whoever hits it, it is playable as long as it's not the 4th hit, okay? If you are returning it and it hits on your side of the net ceiling, so it hits on the ceiling on your side of the net and then goes over, automatically the other team's point. Also, and here's the major clarifying point, if you are returning, it crosses the net but still hits the ceiling at any point on the opponent's side and falls, that is still illegal and still your opponent's point. So therefore, if indeed in the prior game it hit the ceiling and then fell on Carthage's side, even though it hit the ceiling on Carthage's side, it still would have been Carthage's point.
That's kind of what I thought it was, just wasn't exactly sure, so I'm glad we were able to get clarification on that.
Yes, and in addition to that, the people I asked that have the intel to that said they didn't even see it hit the rafters. It was close, but nonetheless, 24-13, your score. Carthage 1 away from set 1 victory. Back set. Nice back spin. Can the Firebirds play it? They can. A set over to keep the rally alive. Back set, 1-on-1. Oh, nice pass. Nice delivery. Bennett Kornhaus, the younger sibling of Caden Kornhaus.
And Owen Hendricks on that one, went up for the block, kind of still moving to his left as he went up, didn't get those hands set, went right through him for the point.
Carthage thought there might have been a tip. The Green Knights stay alive. The first game of this doubleheader, Carthage swept the Muskies. St. Norbert trying to make things interesting in set 1. Emmerich sends that one past the far line. Another point for the Green Knights. Nice little run now for St. Norbert. That's 3 in a row. Diving over, Ryan Conway to the libero, couldn't get under it cleanly enough, and that is how set one is going to end. Your score, Carthage 25, St. Norbert 16. We'll take a timeout when we come back. Set 2 action on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
Auto stores located in Kenosha and Racine. Doctors of Physical Therapy, Comprehensive Orthopedics. Golden Oil Company, Lee Mechanical. Pepsi, Riley Construction. Satori Energy. Badger Bus, Bridgeport 10, BSN Sports, Composing Construction. Catalyst Exhibits, Culver's, Estella Hotel and Ballroom, and MH Imaging. Waterfront Warehouse, and Harriman. Serving the Green Knights, number 20, Michael Whitney.
Set 2 underway on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Ferreri alongside Justin Coorigan. St. Norbert couldn't find the groove in set number 1. Carthage started where they left off. But how about that? The Green Knights delivering on the opening point of set number 2.
Yeah, and that's the response they needed after kind of getting punched in the mouth in their opening set of the season. Green Knights getting the kill right there, getting on the board early.
Tied at 1 apiece. Just a little bit too much for St. Norbert. Looking at some of the numbers through set number 1, 16-10 was your kill differential. 5-2 errors favored Carthage with 3 less. Carthage ended hitting 609, but the Green Knights ended at 240. So from hitting negative to ending at 240, nice strong ending there for the Firebirds.
Yeah, the Green Knights really kind of came alive in that last couple points.
Yeah, they
figured
did.
it out.
Yes, they did. There's that triple block, the Great Wall of Kenosha, present here at Tarble Arena.
And just the size on that front line. It's one of the, I'd assume it's one of the biggest in NCAA Division III. Those guys are all just giants, brick wall when they all line up.
Well, Cholowinski stands only at 6'8". Alongside him is Emmerich at 6'3", at least in this front line. Otto 6'3". You know, when you have that happening, and then when you throw in the 6'7" setter of Maury, you know, that just adds you that extra element of height at the net, but then you got the speed of Kolwitz that kind of just is that change of pace what they have, and not to mention how good at serving the Firebirds have been in the first 4 sets plus this evening.
Yeah, and I think that's something too that they've turned around already in this match alone. They had 15 service errors. They're cruising a lot better than that right now, just 3 of them so far.
That one drops past the back line. Good concentration by the Green Knights, because I think maybe earlier in set number 1 they tried to go for that one. This time saw it chest up, got out of the way.
The crazy thing too, when you look at the size of these guys, when they're all standing next to each other, you can't tell necessarily how big they are. But when you see them walking around campus, they are just towering over people. They are some of the biggest people on this campus. I remember when I was a student here, I was classmates with the great Zach Bolthice.
Bolthice, yeah, he was good.
He was a giant. And one time I ran into him in town. He was with 2 of his teammates. And I'm at 6 feet. I'm not used to feeling short around people.
Yeah.
I felt tiny compared to these guys.
Well, I am all of 5'7", and so I am in the land of giants when I broadcast men's or women's volleyball. That's why my short career was back row and back row only, but we digress.
See what you did there, short career?
Yep. Oh, nice play on the right side, towing the line. Bennett Kornhaus. You know, and what I appreciate about the Kornhaus brothers being here together, it's shades of what we see with the Johnson brothers for the men's basketball team for Carthage. The older brother made the decision, but the younger brother still made the choice to go with. You know, Ryan Johnson for the Firebirds men's basketball team didn't have to come with. He chose to. All the same with St. Norbert.
Exactly, and it seems, at least from what we're seeing here, it seems to be paying off the same way that we see the Johnson brothers do in men's basketball. I mean, those two going a perfect 20 for 20 from the free throw line in the win over Elmhurst the other night. To stay on the Johnson brothers too real quick as we head into Saturday's doubleheader against Milliken, that's something where you saw AJ go down with his injury, and Ryan was the one to step up for the Firebirds last season to where he ended up being CCIW Newcomer of the Year.
And that's a gentle reminder, tomorrow doubleheader on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Women's then men's hoops. And why not a tape ace to add to boot for the Firebirds, extending their lead back to 4, 7-3. Another ace, Joel Kolwitz.
Kolwitz, he's really stepped up so far, both him and Ryan Mooring as the setters, kind of replacing that Gene McNulty figure that we talked about early on and talked about last game, kind of taking over that field general position on this court.
Left hand over. Was there a tip? There was. Nice ability on that right side, but by Ben Heiss. Saw himself physically a little bit closer to the pin that he wanted, knew he couldn't go cross court, went for the tool and got it.
Yeah, he knows he's tight on the pin and he sees the blocks blocking the cross court shot. Just using that right hand to force it back.
So St. Norbert answers back to within 3. You know, looking at the story for the Kornhaus brothers. As for Bennett Kornhaus, undecided major. But as what Coach Bryant had to say is he's like, look, Bennett's positioned himself to be a huge part of our team this year. last year, 50 kills, 79 digs, 11 aces. He said he's going to be an important part of our piece in an effort to make the postseason. He's a huge offseason and is ready for a breakout sophomore season. His favorite snack is pizza rolls, and his favorite video game is Rocket League.
Are you any good at Rocket League?
I have never played Rocket League. Are you any good at Rocket League?
I am not good. I am terrible. I have played it.
I feel that's something that the Carthage esports team might partake in.
They do.
Okay.
They're actually very good at Rocket League. Is one of their things they're usually pretty good at.
I always said I'm, 20 plus years away or removed from playing esports in college. But I don't know how big esports sports games are. Like whether it's college football or Madden or any of those, but I'm happy for the likes of the Carthage students that have an esports team and that are that good at what they do. Such an outlet, such an opportunity for them.
Yeah, they don't do the sports games right now per se, but I could see that definitely getting added in the future. I know personally in college, I would have loved that.
Yeah.
I might have given up running to play a little college football 25 or MLB The Show if you put it on the esports teams.
There you go. I still have eligibility, so that counts.
I think I do as well. Thank you, COVID.
Side swipe to keep it alive. The no-look Cholowinski, that goes out of play. Smart play by Cholo just to keep the rally going. But nonetheless, point goes to St. Norbert. They're back to within 3. Welcome to the donut. St. Norbert couldn't get their perfect placement for Carthage.
Absolutely. Great set setting up Cholowinski, one of the best swings we've seen him take so far this evening. Put it right through the floor, which we're accustomed to seeing here in Tarble.
Ten-foot line, back row, out of play. Hendricks, he was going for it, but it was almost a fortunate event that he couldn't get there in time, because maybe if he got there closer, maybe he would have stuck an arm out. Didn't. Quick 2 points for the Firebirds.
And that one, just contact wasn't great from the back row. You could hear it from here. Just didn't hit the ball right. Didn't snap down on it.
Another ace for the Firebirds. Just adding them on right now. Third ace of the evening for Hendricks. Second timeout for the Firebirds. Again, we appreciate you being with us on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. 13-7 your score for Justin Coorigan. I'm Peter Ferreri. Justin, let's look at some of the numbers. Again, we mentioned 3 aces so far for Hendricks. That pressure that Hendricks puts on really is causing fits for St. Norbert on the return.
Absolutely, and that's the key in this. I know we talked last game about how it's more put the ball through the floor on serves in men's volleyball, but he's doing a great job of disrupting their back line, finding those seams, putting it short, putting it long, keeping them on their toes. And it's really setting up the Firebirds defensively to make us stop early.
As both teams are taking more or less the full length of the timeout, we want to remind everybody of future games for the volleyball program. Carthage is going to head out of town for the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs Slug Slam. So that will be next Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So they're going to be taking on New Paltz, UC Santa Cruz and the Banana Slugs, and then California Lutheran before welcoming Juanita College for the Frog Jump Invitational, and that's going to be Thursday, January 30th. So after today, they're not coming back for a few weeks.
No, and that's not an easy road trip by any means, but with the way that the committees in the NCAA make decisions on who makes the tournament, those are some key wins they're going to need to get early on to make sure that this team can have a run at the championship, whether they get a conference championship or not. So Director of Communications Sam Boyle just texted me.
He didn't text me.
No, he texted
so am I in
me.
trouble?
No, you're not in trouble. But he wants us to do a hypothetical, and even maybe ask Coach J.W. Kike for this later, who hits harder? Ruben Emmerich or Carthage great Matt Slavinsky?
That would put Coach in a tough spot.
That varies. I see. Again, Slavinsky was during my time as a student.
Yep.
We actually lived on the same floor our freshman year.
Okay.
I haven't seen anyone hit as hard as he does from the outside.
That's tough. I can see Coach saying Hendricks. That's who he said, right? Hendricks?
Emmerich.
Oh, Emmerich. I could see him potentially saying Emmerich, who hits hard as well, because, you know, kind of got to support your current player. And then he'll maybe say off the record. I don't know. I have not seen both with my own eyes. But nonetheless, that's a fun one. Oh, whoa. What a back set for Carthage. My goodness, wide open spaces. Quote the Dixie Chicks, because when that hit the lane, there was nobody home. Left hand dump over. Woo! The lethal lefty, Ben Heiss, the Iceman, hardest hit. He said, why aren't you talking about me?
And really, we could be too, though. So some of the swings he's had tonight, some of the swings Onato's had from the back row tonight, there are some heavy hitters on this team. And it's going to be a fun year if they can keep swinging this well.
And a service ace brings the Green Knights back to within 6, 16-10 your score. Serving now is Bennett Kornhaus. We spoke about him. He's going to actually sub out of the game. Kornhaus with a brace on his left knee, giving way to number 21, Ethan Grassel, your 5'8" sophomore from Glendale, Wisconsin. Transfer from Dominican University.
To give those who are watching who may not have known the Matt Slavinsky era of this team, 4-time AVCA All-America First Team, 3-time CCIW Offensive Player of the Year. In his career, 1,162 kills, averaging 3.72 per set. Hitting percentage .323 on his career.
The overpass, and Hendricks delivers the power bomb. He said, well, I heard you mention my name earlier. That could be a fun, maybe in-season contest. You go, because you're a big, baseball guy as well. You get the radar gun and do a speed test.
We might even be able to do that from up here. Borrow a radar gun. I'm sure Coach Augie Schmidt's got one for the baseball team.
Back set for the lefty. Heiss has it blocked back. Playable. Tip going to be called as Ishii comes away with the point. Again, Ishii, one of your rotational players, but when he's able to get his name said.
And Ishii's one of those guys where if he's having a good night, you know things are going really well for the Firebirds because he's in because other people are having a good night as well, and it's all working in sync.
Nice high back set. That's elevation, Holmes. Another point for Carthage, 20-15.
I'm in about line with how he hit that, and that was terrifying to watch him come from that angle. I'm glad I'm not playing back row right now.
Bit too much under it was number 14, Hudson Schweitzer. Firebirds 5 away from set number 2 and a strong lead on this match. St. Norbert, though, can they capitalize on the error? Left hand, gentle tip. Uppercut with the right hand, successful for the green. Another pass over the middle. Ryan Cholowinski delivers and welcomes St. Norbert into the ring of fire.
And I think something we're going to see throughout the season is that become more efficient and more lethal for the Firebirds. That connection between Kolwitz and Cholowinski in the middle. These guys are still learning how to play with each other. As soon as they really figure out how to get that set to where Cholowinski can dominate with it, it's going to be a fun time for this team.
Tipped off the left side. You know, and that's something St. Norbert's got to do. So right now, if you are going blow for blow with the Firebirds, it's not going to happen as easily on the power side. Where's the style? Where's the accuracy? You know the block's going to be there. How can you tip it off? How can you try to get that tool?
Yeah, that was very efficient play by Cornhouse. He knew the block was coming up aggressive. Instead of going for a hard swing, stick that arm out, force it off the side of the arm. Great spot there on the swing from Flagler Heron.
Back to serve. The aforementioned Justin Ishii, the sophomore out of Germantown, Wisconsin. And Ishii delivers. High set left pin. Nice job keeping it in. And again, there's that. I'm not saying that it wasn't a hard hit, but it doesn't need to be hard at the block. If you got to take a little bit off or even go full throttle, try to find the gaps a little bit more.
Exactly, and this Green Knights team, they're not beating the block right now, so if you can't go through it, go around it, and that's what they've been trying to do here late in this second set.
Very well said. So trying to do just that was Jacob Van Owen, but it just hit the tape, but he had the right idea.
He had the right idea. He tried to go around the left side of the block, the right side of the block from his point of view. Just didn't have enough. I probably would have gone over there, which is easier said than done, with Flagler Heron at 6'5", leading the middle. There was an example of hitting through the block. They caught it coming up late.
So sub in now, rotational libero, Devin O'Callahan, the freshman out of Maple Grove, Minnesota. With the double knee brace, he's in for a few points. They try to go right at him, sails a bit to the right. Playable for the Green Knights. Falling away, just rolls it over. Near pin. Playable left side, there's the block. Hudson Schweitzer says thank you, next. And Carthage won away from set 2 victory.
Bench absolutely loving that block, getting fired up. Tarble Arena comes to their feet. Looking for one last point here in set 2.
And that's all you need for a set 2 victory. 10 points was the difference. 25-15. Justin, before we take a timeout for set number 3, Carthage firing on all cylinders.
Absolutely. They took the momentum off the win from game number 1 against Lakeland, and they have just hit the ground running in this second match, looking for another 3-0 sweep.
We'll take a little bit of a timeout. When we come back, potentially the conclusion of the doubleheader. Firebirds 2, St. Norbert and the Green Knights 0. Can St. Norbert's push it to 4? We'll find out on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Welcome back, set number 2, Firebird Broadcasting Network. I'm Peter Ferreri alongside former Carthage All-Star athlete Justin Coorigan. That one falls in and Carthage picks up right where they left off, 1-0. You know, Justin, I thought about you driving in today because I saw the cross-country team running in the snow.
Oh, yeah.
Do you miss that?
I do and I don't.
Okay.
I don't miss slipping around, but there's something to be said about, and this is why people call me crazy, but there's something to be said about just going out with your buddies and having a run in the snow, because you're not really focused on going all that fast. You're just getting the mileage in, you're having fun. A lot of times we come up with some random conversation to get through the hour of freezing.
You can talk and run at the same time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Some of the conversations we had, it
Sure.
was amazing. Some of the insights that came out of long runs. I always tell people the craziest day I remember, it was about, real field was about -18. We had about 6 inches of snow on the ground, and there was 30-mile-an-hour winds on a Sunday morning when we were supposed to go do a long run. I'll let you call the point here, I'll finish.
I mean, nothing beyond saying the concentration by Cholowinski when your nearly 7-footer drops down below the net with the up, everything's coming up fire.
So we show up in the morning thinking, hey, we're going to be inside today. It's cold, it's snowy, there's no way we're going to run outside. Coach comes in and goes, what are you talking about? Get out there, let's go. You're not doing 10 miles on the indoor track. Go do your run out there. So we did 10 miles. I came back with icicles on my eyebrows, and it was a very interesting 9 to 10 mile run.
Wow. What was the, for those familiar with the Carthage and Kenosha campus and area, what was the route?
So once it gets
cold,
you don't go lakeside. You don't go along the lake on Sheridan once the winds, because the winds get really bad in December.
Okay.
Through till about April. So typically you're running up towards the UW Parkside campus.
That's where I saw them running today.
There's a bike trail that kind of goes along that way that you hop on that. It really depends on what's snowed under, what's not, where the winds are at. It kind of all varies based on it. And they honestly may have changed their routes since I happened, which was a lot longer ago than I would like to acknowledge now.
3-3 your score.
St. Norbert off to a much better start this set as we've been talking away from volleyball, but they're off to probably the best start we've seen out of them as far as point efficiency and aggression.
Up in the air. Left pin. And there's that great wall of Kenosha showing itself again when it gets 3 wide. Justin, talk me through it. If you're St. Norbert, what do you do?
I mean, you either have to try and hit as hard as you can through it to break that up and hope that somebody's out of sync and not timed up, which is a rarity with this Carthage front wall, or you got to try and get fancy and tip it over to the side like we talked about in set 2.
One of the setters and serve specials Kolwitzin. Almost getting an ace. Side bump to keep it alive. Over the double, playable, nice up by Conway. Overpass. I like that point for the Green Knights. More than once the rally could have been over, but they played it to keep going. Didn't necessarily go for broke, said let's just keep it alive and see what happens, and it ended up going in their favor.
Yeah, they played smart defensive volleyball there until they found the right opportunity, and Caden Nelson goes up like he's 7 feet tall and puts it through the floor.
High back set, down and in. Strength personified. Emmerich saying, oh, go ahead, Justin, pull out the speed gun. I don't know, back to serve. So the Firebirds swept the Muskies earlier this evening, are looking to do the same against the Green Knights. However, Caden Kornhaus says not so fast.
This Green Knights team found some life here in the first 10 points. Very different look than what we've seen from them these first 2 sets. Looked it up during the break. if the Firebirds can pull off this third set, it'll be the first time Coach Kiekefer has started out with back-to-back sweeps since the 2021 season.
And that ended pretty well with a 23-0 national championship record. You were already here in 22, correct?
I was not here anymore in 22, but I was at the game to win it all.
That had to be a very memorable contest.
I came in, I've never seen this place that loud. This felt like a D1 experience in here. I was standing just under where the actual championship banner for that championship is, because I got here about 10 points into the match and it was standing room only.
Wow. I wishful thinking, but to get back to that point where people are sitting 3 feet away from us up here in the rafters, that'd be pretty amazing. And the potential is there. Bringing it back in. Again, we're only almost 2 games into this season, but as you mentioned already, Justin, the errors for Carthage have diminished exponentially so far.
Exactly, even just match 1 to match 2, they're taking care of the volleyball a lot better. They're feeling settled in. That kind of preseason jitters is worn off. And even just looking back to last year, this seems to be a team that's taking care of the volleyball a lot better despite their youth.
Emmerich sends that into the net for the service error.
Just making me eat my words, Ruben. Come on.
Yeah, pretty quick. But St. Norbert, they're staying around much better here in the set. And the biggest reason is they didn't get in such an early hole that you're trying to climb out, because it's easier said than done. You got to do like Lakeland did in set 1, is you got to put Carthage in a tough spot and put them in an uncharted waters and make them have to come from behind.
Ryan Cholinsky there, just his 4th kill on the night, but it was a beauty. Getting up high, meeting that ball at the top of his swing and putting it through the floor.
Another service error, back-to-back serve opportunities, that time Hendricks. So Emmerich and Hendricks back-to-back service errors for the Firebirds, and that's 2 out of the 8 points for St. Norbert.
Yeah, and after starting much better efficiency at the service line, they've fallen now their 11th error already, 15 in the first match. So one thing I've seen out of them tonight, I'm like, this needs to get cleaned up moving forward, because while St. Norbert or Lakeland might not punish you much for it, teams like Juniata, Stevens, they're going to hurt you for it if you can't get your serves in.
9-8 your score. Want to remind everybody, stick around for the post-game show. Coach J.W. Kiekefer will join us live right after the broadcast. Talk about the Lakeland victory and what I'm sure Firebird fans are hoping is a victory as well against St. Norbert. But tied at 9, this is a much different St. Norbert team here in set 3.
Yeah, they've really flipped the switch here and are battling, which kudos to them. It's not easy to go down 2-0 on the road against a ranked opponent and find a way to fight back in set 3.
Pass to the left side. Oh, no self-preservation, nice uppercut, but didn't quite go into a place where Heiss can get to it. St. Norbert has the lead.
So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the first time in the last 5 sets that the Firebirds have trailed. I don't believe they trailed in sets 2 or 3 against Lakeland. I don't think they trailed in either of these first 2.
Tying it back up are the Firebirds. Carthage now in their hit percentage down to .561. Set 1 was in the .760 range, which of course is unsustainable, but again, still at such a high percentage. Really something to behold. St. Norbert thought that one went out of play. Head coach B.J. Bryan, along with Val Thomas, Matt Seidel, and Cody Fiordo, not necessarily happy about that call, but nonetheless, the consensus plays. There are not reviews here in the CCIW. Back row, left side. That stays in. Outstanding job by Carthage, and I know it may sound like a broken record, but it's truly outstanding with how high a percentage they're hitting. They're putting less pressure on their players at the service line when you're hitting at such a high percentage at the net.
Absolutely, and it makes up for it. And the thing is, too, is a lot of these errors they're making, they're doing it because they're being aggressive, which is what Coach Kiekefer's looking for. He wants them aggressive. He wants them to swinging as hard as possible, making the smart decision when they're swinging hard, not just swinging for the fences on every play. But when they're missing, they're just barely missing. It's a good swing. It's in a good spot. It's just a little too far or a little too wide on a lot of these errors.
On the back set, that's going to be a lift. Yep. I don't try to call things, but Emmerich really brought that back to the forehead before he flung it back out. And the Green Knights come away. This is a back and forth battle. This is the entertaining part you want to see. If you're a Green Knight fan, whether in attendance or tuning in from home or on your phone, wherever you may be, we appreciate you being with us this Friday evening. Back set. Oh, over the middle and through the woods. Once again, the Schweitzer bomb. 13-13, tying it up.
Hudson Schweitzer, the 6'4" freshman out of Middleton, Wisconsin, does not play like he's 6'4" at all. He gets up, he gets big, has a powerful swing from the middle of the court.
Back set, trying to get underneath it, not able to do so, hits the antenna. If you're Carthage, having just played, even though it was only, quote, 3 sets, you want to try to get out of here with a second sweep, because the more sets you have, it's going to favor St. Norbert.
Absolutely. Fatigue is, although it doesn't play a huge role in volleyball, it is going to start taking over, and you want to get out of here quickly and not have to worry about your starters getting a little fatigued on the court.
I really liked that awareness by Hendricks. The block, the double block was setting up in front of him, went for the finesse, played the line, tied it at 14.
Absolutely, and again, that's those smart decisions that they're being aggressive, but in a smart way.
Down and in. The accuracy for St. Norbert, it's something you said they needed to work on to come back in this game. They are doing so, and then some, in this third set.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing their offense evolve a bit. We mentioned early in set 2 that they had to figure out how to play smart with it. You're seeing it more. They're picking and choosing when to be aggressive with their swings.
That stays in. A little bit of a miscommunication in the back row. Jacob Van Owen thought it was going to go out, just stayed in.
Maury back in now to serve.
Carthage has outkilled Norbert 40-26. St. Norbert has had 12 attack errors to only 3 of Carthage. Out of play, point goes to the Firebirds.
Good majority of those errors. Kornaus 3, Van Oyen 3, Knezevich 3. Actually 4 now for Kornaus.
Playable for the Birds. High back set, that should be good. Just out of play. Luck be a lady as Zach Nolan dove. Didn't touch his shoulder on the way down. Carthage back to a 2-point lead, one of their biggest leads in set number 3.
That's great communication too. Zach Nolan could have easily stuck his arm out to pancake Coach Kiekefer and the blockers knowing that's going out. Nolan recognizing it, keeping that arm tucked.
Ryan Morey with the service error. Uncharacteristic third set at the service line, but we did mention because of their accuracy from that 10-foot line in, it can allow for more of these errors and won't be as detrimental as in seasons past as they allow St. Norbert to do another gimme point. Back row almost snapped into play.
That's the 5th service error of the night, of the set, I should say, for the Firebirds.
St. Norbert sticking around, not going gently on this Friday night. High back set, left hand, out of play, no tip. And just like that, the Green Knights have tied it up. If you're Coach Keycafer, you had a 2-point lead. It's extinguished. If they score another one, I know it's only a 3-point one. Do you consider a timeout?
I think if they get up by 2 on you here,
Okay.
20-18, I don't think, when you're at home, this crowd's going to start getting loud the closer we get to 25.
Fair.
I don't think you waste it and you give them a shot to come out of a timeout with momentum.
Well, Carthage answers back and answers the call over the middle. Cholo checks back in along with the height of Ryan Morey.
Morey at 6'7" for a setter, something
Yeah.
is very uncharacteristic.
Well, and that's, we mentioned such a good rotation they have between him and Kolwitz.
Very different size base, too.
Yeah.
One at 6'7", the other at 6 foot.
And there's what you said could be the success, or the successful way to attack this if you're St. Norbert. A little bit of a roll over the triple block, and there's nobody home.
Exactly. See the guys coming up aggressive, pull the rug out from underneath them and just dip it over, almost in the style of a screen pass in football when you catch the blitz coming.
Out of play it goes, no touch. Carthage hits that 20 mark.
There was a time of being a little too aggressive on the swing. He tried to hit it back towards the line, but his body's moving to his right, and he's trying to hit left. It's a very uneven swing. Not going to get a lot of power on it, and a lot of times you're going to hit it out like he did there.
5 points away from the back-to-back sweeps on opening night. The Green Knights trying to play the spoiler. Nice up, picked back up by Noland. Blocked back. Huge ISO block, the block of the game for Cade Nelson. Quiet evening for him. Biggest block for St. Norbert this evening.
He has really come alive here in this third set, getting some crucial kills. Crucial block there to keep the Green Knights' hopes alive here in set 3.
Tied at 20. Firebirds want to end their evening. It's been a long night for them. Trying to do so there, pulling it down, Owen Otto with the fireball off the right wrist. 4 more for the Firebirds. Down and in. Firebirds picking it up. St. Norbert has to reply, and they need to do it now. I was wondering if a timeout was going to be called. There it was. 22-20. Firebirds 3 points away from the sweep. Let's start with the Green Knights. They've responded every time they've been down this evening. What do they have to do this time around?
I think they started off perfectly. They're calling the timeout, as we mentioned before, that 2-point separation. That's when you really got to lock in. Calling a timeout there, regroup. You got a ranked team up against the ropes in a set, but now they're starting to pull away, but so you need to lock back in. Be smart with it here. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to force it through. Just 1 point at a time, 1 play at a time. Make the right pass, get a good set, get a good swing in a smart location against this block. On
the flip side, if you're the Firebirds, you're looking at a situation now, You don't want it to go to 4 because St. Norbert has been back and forth with taking the momentum away. Are you feeding somebody specific? Are you looking for something offensively? What are you looking for to finish things out at home?
I think offensively, you're just looking for your setter to make the smart decision. You don't need to force anything. It doesn't need to get forced to Cholowinski, to Otto, to Hendricks. There's enough firepower on this Firebirds offense that it's almost better to not go to somebody specific. Let's try and get the right play, read where the block's going, and actually a very interesting moment for, I believe it's going to be Maury out there as the setter. Let him take over as the floor general, make that smart decision, because he's going to need to be able to do that down the road.
The Green Knights over the triple block, but this time playable in the back. Nice block back by the Green Knights. I was letting that play breathe a little bit. Heist did the good job on the first deflection. They couldn't get it when it came across the second time. St. Norbert within 1.
And again, that was Caden Nelson just getting enough of that ball to send it to his left, trickle down the net.
Ten-foot line. Owen Otto tied at 22. So St. Norbert cool and composed in that first point they needed. Second point, Carthage with the gimme.
Now I think here, if Norbert takes this point, I think you're going to see a timeout from Coach Kike for, now you can't afford to wait to be down 2.
Left pin. Playable for the Green Knights. Huge dive. That falls on the side of the net. Mistimed attack by Kornhaus. Firebirds need 2.
Now I think Norbert here, you're going to wait to see what happens here. If you can't get this point, I think you're going to see that final timeout get used at 24-22.
Opportunity for the Firebirds. Over the middle. The big man, Cholowinski. Match point for Carthage.
It appears Coach Bryant's going to keep that timeout in his pocket.
A service ace to end,
overruling on
to not end the game. Coach Kiefer in disbelief, yelling, "Come on!" But you got to get the team focused right away.
Exactly.
You are still at set point, match point.
That cannot be the point that breaks you in this set.
No touch. We will go 2 extras. St. Norbert stays alive.
Cholowinski had the right idea there, tried to play it off the block, just barely missed the arm.
Oh, with authority. Hendricks delivers. Match point again.
It's kill number 11 in the match for Hendricks, 21 on the night between the doubleheader.
Second and final timeout called by the Green Knights of St. Norbert. An entertaining third set, to say the least. We're already in extras. For Justin Coorigan, I'm Peter Ferreri. Justin, let's play the scenario again. If you are Carthage, let's start with them this time. You had a situation where you thought an ace ended it. The next play, St. Norbert is able to come back and take advantage of it. You're up by 1. You have the serve. Is there a specific place you may go with it? A spot, a person? What's the mindset coming out of this timeout?
I think with the 1-point lead, you're up 2 sets to none. No need to be over-aggressive here on the serve. Get the serve inbounds. Let the Green Knights make the mistake, and trust that your blockers on that front wall are going to get the job done, or your back row can take care of the ball cleanly to set up your offense if the block can't do it. I don't think there's any need to be overly aggressive. There's definitely no need to panic yet. But I think as long as they play this smart and don't get too aggressive, and stay within themselves, they should be able to take care of this point.
St. Norbert swept 8 times last season, hoping to not start out in that same spot. Carthage with 7 sweeps on the winning side last season, hoping to start out with 2. Back to serve. Ryan Morey plays it safe. Left pin. Out of play. Zach Noland couldn't get the clean return. We play on.
There's not a whole lot he can do there. That ball was rocketed right at him. It was a reactionary response. Just ricocheted off and out of play.
Tied at 25. Cholowinski says, feed me more. Fans back on their seat. Wow. Back row. Playable for the green. Side swipe still alive.
Great up there by Kornhaus.
Back set. Right hand finds the line, still playable for the Green Knights. No touch. That's going to be it. That's going to be all she wrote. The Firebirds with the sweep of the Green Knights. Needed a little bit extra in set number 3, coming away victorious 27-25. Coach J.W. Kiekefer will join us up here in the booth in a few short minutes, but until we get there, Justin, thoughts on the contest?
I thought it was a great night for Carthage overall, taking 4 of the 6 sets we saw cleanly. In this one, the first 2, they had to battle through set 3, but honestly, I think if we were to ask Coach Kiekefer, I think he's going to be very happy they had to battle to at least have a little bit of adversity in this doubleheader to open the season, because they're going to have dogfights down the stretch here, especially on this next long road trip.
Indeed they are. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, the Coaches Show right here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Carthage sweeps the Muskies, then sweeps the Green Knights. Don't go anywhere. And welcome into the post-game show here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network alongside head coach J.W. Kike from Peter Ferreri, Justin Coorigan. Coach, first off, congrats on the wins, plural. Let's start with what just happened. St. Norbert really pushed you to the limit in that third set. First two really went your way. What was the mindset preparing for a quick turnaround for game two, but still being able to deliver in three?
Yeah, that's hard. That's really hard
Yeah.
to play really good 3 sets of volleyball and then take an hour and 15-minute break and immediately have to put it back on the floor and play a pretty elite volleyball again too. Peter, like you said, that St. Norbert team has got some pressure. That
Yeah.
number 22 kid, Bennett Cornhouse, hit 500, 12, 2, and 20. That's pretty unreal.
Yeah.
We got to go figure out our left side block because there's a lot of good opposites in the country, and we got to go figure that out. But, I thought that last set was a barn burner. We played some pretty mediocre defense and made a bunch of errors, it looks like, 5 attacking errors. I'm sure there's a lot of serving errors in that set, too, that kept that one close, just like that first set against Lakeland.
Yeah.
We made 12 errors in that first set there. They scored 20 points and 12 of them over our side of the net. So, when you make a lot of errors, you create close sets.
Yeah.
I'm proud of our guys. We got a lot of freshmen and sophomores
Yes.
out there. 2 seniors in Ryan Cholowinski and Zach Noland and Jack McDonald off the bench. So, 3 guys that play some time. But we're a young, inexperienced volleyball team. And so to keep our cool late in set 3 there as we go back and forth and to just play really good offense and try to stay consistent, it's great. There's some choices out there. We got to make some better choices in late game situations to go win some sets. But that's why we were playing matches this early. The practice gym, we've been really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so we needed to play. We needed to try to find our ways to be efficient and get some pressure put on us in different ways and kind of have the evil of a different team, not just your own team every match. So we needed this. We needed to get pushed. And, credit to that St. Norbert team. I thought they played really well in that set 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach, so 38 kills in the first match, 45 kills for the team in the second match, but only 4 players going double digits, spreading the wealth on offense. What does that do for your team moving forward?
Yeah, this is Carthage volleyball, so our left sides are going to get a lot of attention, and they're going to put a lot of balls away. That's what our offense is predicated on, is running the big attack, that quick middle attack out of the backcourt. And so I thought Owen Hendricks and Owen Otto were really, really good there. But when we run that 6-2, right, when you switch those 2 opposites, so 2 setters and 2 opposites, just that opposite hitter position, you're basically combining those 2 kill numbers to make 1 number for a double-digit score. I'm just proud of the selflessness that is involved in wanting to run a 6-2. Ryan Morey, Joe Kolwitz are 2 of the best setters in the country. We've seen Ben Heiss do his thing last year. And, he's one of the best opposites in the country. And then, we saw Ruben Emmerich do his thing for us today. Clearly one of the best opposites in the country as well. And so for all 4 of those guys to be selfless, to be teammates, to put their own egos and their own, publicity away to go win volleyball matches for this team, I can't thank them enough for what they do and to go in with the energy. It's hard to sit in the bench with 3 rotations and come back in with the same energy and enthusiasm and effort. I thought they were really good today in that 6-2. And we're not always going to be in a 6-2. Maybe we flip into a 5-1 if we need it. You saw it a couple of times where we flipped into the 5-1 in different situations. But the selflessness of this team and how much they care about each other and how many different lineups we can play is why this team is excellent.
Yeah.
So back-to-back 3-0 sweeps, first time you've done that since the 2021 season. We all know how that one ended up.
It's pretty fun.
What do you have to do in these next 7 days at practice to keep the momentum going before New Paltz on Friday?
Yeah, pretty unrealistic you're going to win, that many sets in a row. We don't really care about the set wins and how many sets we win in a row. We're just really caring about trying to go win the match and putting our best effort forward for everything we can do to go win volleyball matches. So, clean up the offense. We're close. Again, I think some decision-making situations we got to get better at. And when you got 2, Ryan Morey set for us a little bit last year, but not fully. And Joe Kolwitz is fully new to playing. He's been in the offense around the system for multiple years. But it's different when you get yelled at by JW for making some decisions that could have been better. And so we just got to continue to work through the offense, through those 2 guys, and trying to find a consistent ball. I thought our block was pretty poor in set 3. It was so elite in set 1. We blocked 7 balls in 1 and 2, and it just poof went away in set 3. And again, that Cornhouse guy, Bennett Cornhouse, did a nice job attacking that ball on the seam from St. Norbert. But if we're going to go win volleyball matches, our block has to be consistent. It can't go away in the third set, and our backcourt defense can't go away in the third set. So, yeah, just continuing to be consistent. I think when our communication's high, we're pretty good.
Yeah. Not to go back to the first game, but to go back to the first game. Set one, the Muskies gave you everything they could. And they took set one from you last year, almost a year to the date. What happened midway through? There's multiple lead changes that really, it seemed, flipped the script.
Oh, Owen Hendricks was pretty dang good in
Yeah.
that match. 10-0-11 or something dumb like that. That it's unheard what he's doing so far in these two matches. Holy cow. Then you got Owen Otto, who was the main focus of our offense last year, as doing his thing right behind it. So we just stopped hitting balls out, stopped serving balls out. That's really all it was. 2 reception errors, 10 attacking errors. Service errors, I guess. It's just too many errors, and it could keep the match close. So put the ball in play, block some balls, dig some balls, and let our athleticism take hold. I think that's one of the things that we've talked about a lot so far. Is I think we're one of the most athletic teams in the country.
Yeah.
But if you only play at 80% of your athleticism, or if you miss a bunch of serves and don't allow your team to be athletic, it doesn't matter you're more athletic than the other team, right? If you're not putting 100% of your effort on the floor every single time, if you only bring 80%, a team that's 80% as athletic as you can play with you, or if you're just missing 7 to 8 serves a set, well, then it doesn't matter how athletic they are. If you keep missing serves, you can't put that pressure on them in your own way. So we talk about that a lot, about giving our utmost effort, be disciplined all the time so our athleticism can take hold.
Coach, as we look ahead, you're not going to be back for almost a month, but you got the Banana Slugs coming out again, a team that you've played here, played there. What's the outlook of what you want to accomplish besides just wins and losses when you go to California?
Yeah, I love playing Santa Cruz. That's a rivalry that goes back to 2005.
Yep.
That's an old one. And so it's a lot of fun to continue that rivalry. They play hard, and that California style of volleyball is super, super technical.
Yep.
They pass the ball really well. They dig everything and bring it back. And I think that's one of our weaknesses this year is our power from the front court. And so it's going to be a long, drag it out, a lot of rallies. Who's can stay in it and play good offense at the right time situation. We got to set the middle of the court really well.
Yeah.
That's a big advantage we have against the rest of the country. You saw Hudson Schweitzer there to play 2 matches, and he was pretty elite today. Only 6 balls in that last match. We got to get him more volleyballs. He's pretty good. And so if we can get the ball to center of the court, we'll be all right. I think that's our advantage against the rest of the country. That means we got to pass and go from there.
Yeah.
But so much fun to play against Santa Cruz and in Santa Cruz. We get New Paltz first, a team that's won multiple national championships. And so 2 blue bloods of Division III going after. Actually, 3, you call it out there. We play New Paltz, who's got multiple national championships. Sure. Santa Cruz, who's been, I don't know if they've won one or not, but they've been elite. Like I said, 2005 rivalry. Yeah. And then you get Kalu, who's the defending national champion. So blue bloods of Division III out there in California. What more do you want?
Exactly. Well, Coach, congrats on back-to-back sweeps. Have a fun road trip, and we'll see you. Hopefully a flight, not driving to California.
Yeah, we're flying. Thank Lord above we're flying. Yeah, that would be tough.
We'll see you in a few weeks, Coach.
Thanks,
Congrats.
Guys. Appreciate it. Go Birds.
All right, that was Coach J.W. Kike for back-to-back sweeps to start the season, first time since 2001, which, of course, was a 23-0 national championship season. Justin, final stats.
I mean, the hitting percentage to me stands out the most, 468 to 125. Carthage took care of the ball when they were being offensive, but I think Coach Kike for hit it on the head. There were several things they can still clean up. There was definitely some early season jitters, early season errors. You saw the fatigue start to play in a bit in the 6th set of the night as St. Norbert ran with them. So there's stuff to clean up. This was not a perfect game by any means, a perfect set of games, but there's a good starting point heading into a very exciting road trip to California.
All right, well, we want to thank you as well for being with us. After we look at these team stats, let's take a look at what's coming up on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Tomorrow, the doubleheader, women's hoops at 2, men's hoops at 3 versus Milliken. Both teams coming off victories on Wednesday. And then next Wednesday, men's basketball, North Central. That'll be a great one, 7 o'clock. And then Thursday, women's, men's wrestling versus Aurora, 6 and 7 o'clock. So make sure you tune in to the Firebird Broadcasting Network for that. And again, the next broadcast for the Firebirds for this men's volleyball squad, January the 30th through February the 1st, the Frog Jump Invitational. So make sure you tune in to that upcoming broadcast in a few weeks. Once again, your final, the 3-set sweep, 25-16, 25-15, 27-25. Again, for Justin Coorigan, Mike Love, the executive producer, producer John Voinovich, as well as all the staff and crew, Laura, Tasha, Zoe, Yam, and Marissa, the best in the CCIW, second to none. This program has been a presentation of Firebird Broadcast Productions. We appreciate you being with us. This Friday evening, we will be back tomorrow. Make sure you join us. Once again, I'm Peter Ferreri for Justin Coorigan. Have a good night, everybody.